Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us on a very interesting Wednesday. The Jaguars back at work getting ready for the Indianapolis Colts, a Colts team that had 6 starters missing practice today. Up there in Indianapolis, the Jaguars had about 9 guys on their injury report, but only 2 that did not practice. Josh Allen was one of them. I believe, was it Devin Lloyd the other? I think they had 7 limited, but that included Darnell Savage and Evan Ingram, who were limited today, which is definitely encouraging, at least for Evan Ingram, to get him back. We'll talk a lot about Indianapolis and Jacksonville. We'll actually go to Indianapolis later on here in the 8 o'clock hour. My guy James Boyd of The Athletic covering the Colts. He is our guy when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts. And we'll talk about those injuries, about Anthony Richardson, and about the 2-2 Colts making the trip down here to Jacksonville. From the Jaguar side of things, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Prime Time, and you also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. He will join us in less than 15 minutes. So a ton of Jaguars-Colts conversation coming up in hour number 1 of the program tonight. Feel pretty good, man. Had a good day today. Took Little Hack on his very first field trip. Boy, that was something. He rode on a school bus for the very first time, and we got to tour one of the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department stations. Station number 1, as a matter of fact, downtown. I got to tell you, man, all the firefighters down there, you absolutely made the day of about 35 kindergartners. That was incredible. Those guys went above and beyond for my son and his classmates today. Being down there watching that, Little Hack was just, he was grinning ear to ear. So JFRD, 2 big thumbs up to you. All the fellas down there with Station 1 downtown. You guys were outstanding and amazing today, and we certainly appreciate you showing those kids a good time and giving them some information too. Little Hack's been talking about it literally since he got home from the fire station, so that was awesome. And I'll talk more about this later, but I posted it on social media. I hit the 100-pound mark today. Those of you that know, I've been on Awaken 180 for, about 7 months, just over 7 months, and 100 pounds of weight loss. Did that earlier today from 317 to 217, 100 pounds down in about 7.5 months, a little less. So again, thank you to everybody with Awaken 180 for changing my life and probably saving my life. And when you say it, right, 100 pounds of weight loss just sounds crazy, but it's true. 317 to 217, and certainly feel a heck of a lot better than I did 7 months ago. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night, and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Yeah, the Jaguars back at work today, getting ready for the Indianapolis Colts, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. The Jaguars are 0-4. It is what it is. And I talked about this last night. This season's either going to go one of 2 ways. They're either going to be divided and completely just topple over, or they're going to rally, circle the wagons, if you will, and try to get back in this thing. And I think we're going to see that coming up on Sunday, that fork in the road. To me, this isn't as big a fork in the road game as last week was. I think last week was bigger, and the Jaguars did play hard. Certainly didn't give up like they did against Buffalo, which I guess was encouraging. But there's been national reports. Jordan Schultz, who's one of those national guys that likes to stir the pot a little bit, came out with a report, I believe last night, that Doug Peterson had, quote, lost the Jaguar locker room. So Doug Peterson met the media earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center, and he was asked flat out about that report. Doug, do you feel like you've lost this Jaguar locker room?
I mean, I shouldn't even have to. You got to do your job, so you got to ask it. But I shouldn't even have to answer it. I mean, not at all. I don't know where that's coming from, so I don't even want to really expand on something that's just not true. So
that, of course, was Trevor Lawrence. We'll get more of his thoughts in a moment. Now let's get to what Doug Peterson had to say.
Yeah, I would know. I talk to these guys every day. I see them every day. And no, I have not lost the locker room. I think these guys have done everything I've asked. They continue to play and practice hard and battle, and it's a good group. It's a good group. The right leaders in there, and they know what we need to do, and they're not making excuses for it, and I'm not going to make excuses, and we just got to go do it.
The whole losing the locker room thing, I don't really understand. If you lose the locker room, doesn't that mean the guys are going to quit on you? Isn't that basically the verbiage you're insinuating? And you think about the 4 games the Jaguars have played, they've battled their tails off in 3 of them. I mean, Buffalo was a disaster, right? We don't need to rehash that. But Miami, lose on a last-second field goal. Cleveland, you have a ball into the end zone from the 33-yard line, and time expired. And then obviously on Sunday, the Texans score with 18 seconds to go. This team hasn't quit. Now, the bounces haven't gone their way, and they haven't performed. They haven't played very well in spurts, which is why they are where they are. But in no way, shape, or form have they quit. I don't think he's lost the locker room, because to me, when you say a coach loses the locker room, that means his message isn't getting through. That means guys don't care, and maybe guys won't play hard. That's not the case here. The Jaguars are playing hard. If there's one thing you cannot fault them for, look, you can fault Trevor for missing passes. You can fault Etienne for fumbling against Miami. You can fault the receivers for maybe dropping some balls. You can fault the defensive line by not getting to the quarterback. Well, you can't fault them for lack of effort. I mean, they're trying. They're out there. They're battling. I have no complaints about that. Which does bring me back to Trevor Lawrence. He also met the media earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. And Trevor has absolutely no doubt, again, these are all courtesy of Jaguars.com. Trevor has absolutely no doubt that this Jaguar football team can turn things around here in 2024.
I mean, I shouldn't even have to. You got to do your job, so you got to ask it. But I shouldn't even have to answer it. I mean, not at all. I don't know where that's coming from, so I don't even want to really expand on something that's just not true. So,
yeah, look, it's very interesting what's going on with Trevor Lawrence, with Doug Peterson. And as far as turning things around, I think they will. I think they will turn things around. Let's go to Trevor number 7, Denmark, and I do believe they will turn things around. To what extent, I don't really know, because at 0-4, again, only one team in 32 years has made the playoffs starting 0-4. Am I predicting a playoff run? I don't necessarily know about that. I would tend to doubt that. But I believe they'll turn things around. Trevor, do you believe they will turn things around?
I have no doubt that we're gonna find our way out of this, and we're gonna be really good moving forward. And the frustrating part, like I said, is we all feel like it should have happened already, right? And it's like it hasn't happened in the first 4 weeks, which is really frustrating because we feel like we've done everything right during the week. We've prepared the right way. We're detailed, and sometimes that hasn't carried over on Sunday, so that is frustrating. But I've been in this situation before. I've been on teams where we've come out of it and won. After that, I think we won 6 straight after we lost 5 straight, and or whatever it ended up being. And been on the opposite side of it last year where I think we won 5 or 6 straight, and then we lost a bunch straight. So it's a long season, and you just have to keep playing. You can't get too far ahead of yourself, and you can't sulk in the past either.
It is a long season. There are 13 games left, and you take one game at a time, right? And as we talked about last night, I think this team has every opportunity to win the next 3. They certainly could, all right? I'm not taking a giant leap and saying they could beat Indy at home. They could go to London and beat Chicago, and then back in London a week later beat New England. Certainly they could. And if that happens at 3-4, it's a completely new season. At 3-4, you're right in the thick of it at that point. Again, it takes 3 straight wins to get there. This team's lost 9 out of their last 10 games. Let's not jump too far ahead. Let's try to beat Indianapolis on Sunday. But theoretically, you could get back in the thick of it, at least for a wild card spot. So the season is not over, but you got to win some games. Now, people are comparing this to 2022. And the one thing I'll say, all right, people talk about similarities. Are there any similarities? Well, here's the similarity that I have for you. When the Jacksonville Jaguars were 3-7 in 2022, and they played the Baltimore Ravens, who were one of the best teams in the AFC. That was that fourth quarter comeback from Trevor. No one thought they were going to beat Baltimore. They did. So then all of a sudden you got high spirits. But then Jacksonville goes to Detroit the very next week and gets run out of the stadium. Remember that in 2022? Gets run out of the stadium. So Jacksonville's 4-8, no expectations. Fans are angry. Sound familiar? It's right where we are right now. They were 4 games under 500 in 2022. Just like they're 4 games under 500 right now in 2024. And then they rattled off 6 wins in a row. No one in 2022, you, me, Denmark, none of us, when the Jaguars were 4-8, said, you know what, 6 weeks from now, we're going to be 10-8 and in the divisional round of the playoffs against the Kansas City Chiefs. Just like right now, at 0-4, no one, you, me, Denmark, the exact same scenario. No one thinks they're going to recover from 0-4 in 2024. Could history repeat itself twice? It'd be fun to get off to a nice start against Indianapolis. And then all of a sudden you go to London, you get a couple of wins over there, 3-4. Not far-fetched. It's plausible. And at this point, at 0-4, you're looking for any sign of hope. Any sign for things that are plausible, that could happen. Will they happen? I don't know. But it could happen. And that's all you're looking for as the only winless team in the NFL. And again, I'm telling you that much like in 2022, no one thinks it's going to happen. But boy, wouldn't it be something if it did. And we'll see. If lightning can strike twice, and if history can repeat itself, the Jaguars climbing out of a hole where they are 4 games below 500. A lot of Jaguar talk, a lot of Colt talk here in the first hour of the program. We'll take you all the way up to 10 o'clock tonight, as we do every night on Hacker After Dark. Again, we will go to Indianapolis in about 25 minutes. James Boyd of The Athletic. He's our guy when it comes to the Colts, and we'll get the Colts' perspective of the ball game coming up here at Everbank Stadium on Sunday. Coming up next, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Let's talk about the 0-4 start. Let's talk about the Colts. And let's talk about Tom Coughlin, who's going into the pride of the Jaguars. Leon certainly has some thoughts about TC, and he'll share those with you next on a Wednesday evening here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Take your shot at a weekly tailgate combo pack valued at $100 from Southern Steer Butcher.
And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football.
It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter now at 1010XL.com.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. I mentioned it earlier. 100 pounds. I mean, when you say it like that, it's unreal, right? I've lost 100 pounds on this program. From 317 to 217. And with Awaken 180's help, I've done it in less than 7.5 months. The best weight loss program I've ever been on. A life-changing weight loss program. A life-saving weight loss program. If you need to drop weight, whether it's 100 pounds, whether it's 20 pounds, whether it's anywhere in the middle, take it from somebody who's down 100 pounds on this program, all right? That's all you should need to know. Awaken 180 weight loss, the coaching you get, the plan they set you up with, it has changed my life. You could be next. Go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hey, Hickett here with a message from Zero Res. Can you believe they've been cleaning carpets in Jacksonville now for 20 years? Dave Benyon, his family and staff are so grateful of things and appreciate you, their great customers. In fact, October's birthday month for Zero Res. So what are we doing for customers? Just say happy birthday, Zero Res, and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, tile, and grout, upholstery, or area rugs. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Mia here. The name to remember this hurricane season is Pro Jax Roofing. Your neighbors have relied on Mike for 25 years to repair or replace their roofs. When you call Pro Jax Roofing, you only talk to Mike. No expensive salespeople. You always get the best price for your project. For the lowest insurance rates, a free wind mitigation report is always given with your roof replacement. Pro Jax Roofing wishes you a safe hurricane season. And if needed, Mike is here to help. Call today for a free estimate or go online at projaxroofingfl.com.
Every Monday, David Garrard calls the signals and looks for you on Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Look past left prong. Oh, ready.
Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
Duval.
On 1010XL.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Colts, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. 2 hours after the game ends, we will have the fifth quarter for you. The head coach, Dave Campo, myself, and, of course, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy, and the former Jacksonville Jaguar offensive tackle, who you hear every day on XL Primetime, joins us every week here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great, bro.
Man, you and I were on the fifth quarter right after the Houston game. Leon, you've had a couple of days to take a deep breath. 0-4, now officially only the only winless team in the NFL. Just your thoughts on Houston and how we got to 0-4.
Well, heck, I mean, it's very disappointing for this franchise. And the players on the team should be embarrassed, quite frankly, that they started out this way. To be the only team in the NFL without a win, I mean, if that doesn't slap you right in the mouth, I don't know what does. But they did it to themselves. They got to hold themselves accountable. I mean, they've made a litany of mistakes throughout the course of the last 4 weeks that cost them football games. They've had opportunities, they squandered them. I mean, this team at worst should be 3-1. I mean, but they squandered opportunities, penalties, pressure, sacks, inability to cover, get pressure, stop the run the ball, be effective on third downs, third and short, fourth and shorts, all that kind of stuff. So it's a litany of all these calamities that this team. So when they look in the mirror and they look and they say they're 0-4, they don't have anybody to blame but themselves. So it's unfortunate, it's embarrassing, it's a disgrace. Quite frankly, this fan base doesn't deserve what the Jaguars has given them over the last 4 weeks because they're loyal to a fault. I mean, most other franchises would have been jump ship, but I see fans still on board, so they should be applauded for that because this team can't finish, can't start. I don't know where else to begin.
Leon, there's so many people to point blame at. Let's kind of go one by one. Doug Peterson, how much blame does he get for this?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's the head coach. I mean, he's got to be. He's supposed to be the leader of men. He's supposed to inspire these professionals to get them to give a damn about the game. And what I've seen over the last 4 weeks, I mean, I don't see that. This team comes out flat, uninspired, unmotivated, lack of energy. Details of preparations don't seem to be in balance. But yeah, he's got to be held accountable for the reason that they're 0-4. Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's got to do something. And it doesn't start. It's not on Sunday. I mean, he's got to be able to start this on Monday. He's got to hold these players accountable to be professionals each and every day. There should not ever be a time where these guys aren't held accountable and being professional on the field, off the field, in the weight room, in the film room, on the practice field. So if he's not doing all those things, if he's not holding them accountable to all those things, then he has failed as a coach.
Former Jacksonville Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. Leon, the overall roster, which was built and assembled by Trent Baalke, how much of this is on Trent?
Well, he's at fault too as well. I mean, if you look at his track record, all the so-called first picks, second picks that he's made, they've been underwhelming, including Trevor. These guys, listen, if you don't hit on first and second round picks and third round picks, and you don't develop them, they don't become viable commodities to your team, then what you have to do is go out in free agency to make up for that mistake that you made in the draft. And that becomes costly because, these rookie deals are what they are. They aren't what they were maybe 20 years ago. They put a rookie scale in place so you could get quality guys at minimal price. But if you miss on a guy and he's not developed properly, you got to go in free agency and bring somebody in to replace him. And this Jaguar team has been doing that. And Shad Khan he noted that, hey, listen, we're not going to keep spending money on free agency. You're going to have to develop these guys, and these are the guys going to have to play. But these guys that you thought, when you drafted them initially, they're average at best. They're not splash picks. I can't think of any guy that maybe Trent Baalke maybe picked. If you look at it right now, where we are today as a splash pick, when you say, "Hey, that kid or that person right there was a bona fide starter for us right now as we speak." I can't look. I can't see. I mean, he's in that boat as well. Trevor hasn't played well. ATN hasn't either, and we thought those were locks. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson definitely are the same boat, in my opinion.
Trevor's lost 9 starts in a row, Leon. Let's get to him next. Last year, you could blame the injuries. I think, at certain points this year, the fumble from ETN against Miami was the blame for that. Cleveland, there were some drop passes, and the offensive line was terrible. Buffalo was just a complete failure at every level. But I got to tell you, man, Trevor, for the most part, had a clean pocket on Sunday against Houston. Trevor did not get hit all that much, and he just flat out missed throws. To me, there was no excuse for that. I mean, that loss Sunday, a lot of that was on Trevor Lawrence, correct?
Absolutely. It was. And, I was concerned because that Monday night against Buffalo was a complete disaster, especially with the offensive line. And I wanted to see what kind of makeup this offensive line had after they had that atrocity that we saw on Monday Night Football. And for the most part, when I'm watching the game, the offensive line gave Trevor adequate protection, more than adequate protection. And some of those deep balls that he threw with guys wide open, he opened through them. You can't do that. You can't do that at this level. You got in these games, the difference between wins and losses is minute. And you hit on those two big plays, you get all the momentum, especially on the road. But yeah, I don't think. It's not that I don't think. I know he did not play well in that game, especially with the protection that he had from the offensive line. And they had a great game plan. They came in, they ran the ball effectively. They play action, and they gave him protection, and he didn't hit on the long balls. And they got the ball out of his hand early, because they were concerned about the pressure that the Texans were going to make on him. And he failed miserably with the deep balls. And if you hit on a couple of those deep balls for touchdowns, I mean, we're probably not even having this conversation right now.
Leon, I got to tell you, man, what's interesting is you look at them being 0-4, yet they were in 3 ball games. They've lost, I guess you would classify it as 3 heartbreakers, and there's not a lot of silver lining. But one of the silver linings, I guess, if you're looking for one, boy, it looks like they found something with Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, he's a stud, bro. He's an absolute stud. I'm not sure what his win percentage rate is, but it's got to be high. Most of the times when I see him run routes, he's wide open. and that's legit. I mean, I remember him at LSU. And I was like, okay, can he transition that from LSU? Now the SEC is the toughest division in college football, so it's almost tailor-made for the NFL. I mean, it's like one notch below the NFL, in my opinion. So if he could do that at the SEC level, let's see what he could do at this level. And at this level, most of the time when I see him running his routes, I mean, he's winning on most of the occasions. So you got to feed the beast. Get that man the ball at all accounts. Whatever you got to do. Reverses, end arounds, deep balls, skinny posts, crossing routes, whatever you got to do to get the ball in his hands, because he is definitely a playmaker.
You hear Leon Searcy every day on XL Primetime. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. All right, Leon, let's look ahead. Before we talk about the game, let's talk about your former head coach, Tom Coughlin, going into the Pride of the Jaguars on Sunday. I know you have a very good relationship with Tom Coughlin. Just your thoughts, seeing TC taking his rightful spot in the Pride on that wall in that stadium.
Well, it's well-deserved, and it took him long enough, to be quite honest with you. And he should be in the NFL Hall of Fame as well. Listen, I was privileged to be coached under Tom Coughlin for 4 years. Not only that, I've been privileged in my lifetime to be coached under Jimmy Johnson, Bill Cowher, and Tom Coughlin. So how about that? You talk about 3 Hall of Famers in a row. So, yeah, I've always had, when I was a player, I always had a mixed bag with Tom. Tom and I clashed because he wanted what's best for me. I can only realize that now at older age that he wanted what's best for me. And at some particular point, we needed Tom then when we were where we were, because we was a young team, band of misfits, very young, very old at the same time, and somehow it all meshed. And Tom made it mesh, because you talk about someone who held you accountable every day. I mean, I'm talking about every day he held you accountable. In the weight room, in the film room, in the practice room, he conditioned, we battled, we fought, all that kind of stuff. But we wouldn't be the team that we were back then if it wasn't for Tom Coughlin, because his makeup was military style. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it right. And that's the reason why we were a team that battled you. I mean, there's no way in the world a Tom Coughlin team back then would ever start 0-4. Never. Because we battled hard. We battled in practice to the point that when we got in the games, I mean, the games were easy, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, Tom Coughlin is well-deserving and more. But not only what he did as a coach, but what he did as a human being, he's definitely needs to be in the Pride.
It should be a special day on Sunday when Tom Coughlin goes on that wall in that stadium. Now let's get to the game. Leon, I think I ask you this every year because it continues every year. Is there something to the fact that Indianapolis hasn't won here in a decade? I mean, one of the games was in London, but you think of some of the games the Colts have lost down here. They've been miraculous. I mean, the only win the Jaguars had in 2020 was opening day against Indianapolis. In 2021, the Urban Meyer year, after he was already fired, all Indy had to do was win a game here the final week of the regular season, and they couldn't do it. I mean, they haven't won here since September of 2014. I don't know if that means very much, but if anything else, boy, it's quite the stat, and I'm sure the Colts are going to be hearing all about it this week.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be the conversation in the team meeting room that they haven't won in Jacksonville in so long. Yeah, I mean, they're going to come. They're just coming off a victory last week with Joe flipping Flacco, who put up 30 on us, by the way, last time he played against them. So he will not be a pushover. They've got they're a solid team on both sides of the ball as far as defensive-wise and offensive-wise. So I don't see any reason why we can't compete with them. But until this Jaguar team gets out of its own way, they're going to keep getting L's instead of W's.
Well, here's the bottom line. I was talking with Coach Campo about this earlier this week. Obviously, you can't do anything about the past. I'm not breaking any news there. 0-4 is what it is. I mean, the playoff hopes are probably in the toilet already. But all you can do is focus on going 1-0 every week. That's literally all you can do at this point. Figure out a way to beat Indianapolis. And if you look at these teams, Indianapolis has injury issues coming in. It's still early in the week. We don't know what's going to happen with all their guys, but clearly they have injury issues over there. They haven't exactly played great. You're at home. Coughlin's going into the Pride, the throwback unis. I mean, it's not outlandish to think Jacksonville could get off the mat and win their first game this year. And to be honest with you, Leon, I'm kind of leaning Jacksonville, and which is weird to me because I obviously didn't pick them to beat Buffalo or Houston. Yet I think Jacksonville might win this game on Sunday.
Okay, so you think it's ceremoniously with Tom Coughlin and the history behind the Jags and the Colts that we got a shot, we got a chance.
You know what it is, honestly? I'm thinking the law of averages. I mean, the 3 games the Jaguars have lost in heartbreaking fashion, everything that had to go wrong for them in the final quarter did go wrong for them in the final quarter. The law of averages will tell you at some point something bad is going to happen to the opponent if it keeps happening to you over and over and over.
Okay. I like the way you think. All right. You might take me over there. You might sway me a little bit, but right now I'm still on the side of the fence.
And I don't blame you for that. So you're going to take Indianapolis to win the game as it stands right now?
Well, right now, where we are right now, yeah, maybe as the week goes on, maybe I may sway on the other side.
Well, we'll see what happens. Regardless of what happens, the head coach Leon Searcy, or the head coach Dave Campo, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and yours truly will have the 5th quarter here for you on 1010XL 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Colts go final. Leon, final question, man. I got to ask you. College game day out at Cal Berkeley, a 10:30 Eastern kick Saturday night. I hope you get a nap on Saturday. You're going to be up late watching your alma mater. You got to be fired up with the U, man. 5-0, clearly the best team Cristobal's had down there by far.
Yeah, I'm fired up, but I'm a little disappointed in the way they play. Yes, I like the fact that they won the game against Virginia Tech, but we've got issues on both sides of the ball as far as running the ball and stopping the run. I mean, if they go up against any real big dogs, they'll get exposed.
We'll see what happens. Again, Miami and Cal, and that's right, a 10:30 at night kick out there at Cal Berkeley. So get some beauty sleep, Leon. You're going to need it. That game probably won't end until about 2 in the morning. Leon, I'll see you on the 5th quarter this week, man. Have a terrific week until then.
You got it.
There you go. Leon Searcy here with us every week on Hacker After Dark. That's the Jaguar perspective. We've given you the Jaguar perspective, and we'll obviously continue to do that leading up to kickoff on Sunday. But what about the Indianapolis perspective? What are they saying up in Indy about coming here to Jacksonville, trying to win here in Jacksonville for the first time since September of 2014? What about Anthony Richardson? What about the injury status of Jonathan Taylor? There's a lot to discuss. And our guy up in Indy is James Boyd of The Athletic, covering the Indianapolis Colts, and he joins us next on a Wednesday night here in Jacksonville, Florida, with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. It's 1010XL. It's 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
He's mastered the art of incognito.
Charming, sophisticated secret agent.
Hayes Carline takes you behind enemy lines. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Yo, you already know it's your boy E to the T. And what a week of football and betting it was last week. If you haven't bet with MyBookie yet, they're still running that double deposit bonus. Just sign up using promo code 1010XL. We have another huge week, starting with college and NFL games on Thursday night. Get signed up now for a little Sun Belt, Fun Belt college football matchup. Texas State is a 2-touchdown favorite traveling to Troy. But this is the Sun Belt, Fun Belt. We'll take the over 58 points on that total. And for Thursday night NFL action, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Atlanta, where they open up as a 2.5-point underdog to them Falcons. I'd take a long, hard look at betting on the Buccaneers with them 2 points and parlay with the over 43.5 on the total. For a limited time, my bookie still has a double deposit bonus. Use promo code 1010XL to claim that bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit, up to $1,000. Double your money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, and make this season your winning season with my bookie.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Franchi Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hey, Scarline here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Colts, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. Indianapolis comes in at 2-2. Jacksonville, we did it. We're the last team without a win in the National Football League, 0-4. Ugh. And looking to get off the mat with the first victory here in 2024. Our guy up in Indianapolis is James Boyd of The Athletic. Always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. James, how we doing?
I'm doing good. Excited to make my yearly trip to Jacksonville because people complain about it, but I like it. It's Florida. It's hot. It's always nice.
Yeah, look, and we'll get to the history the Colts have here in Jacksonville in just a bit. James, Indianapolis started 0-2. Right, and competitive ball games, especially the Houston game, lost both, but they seem to have found themselves in the last couple of weeks. Why are they playing better now?
I think, one, it has a lot to do with the run defense. The run defense has been a lot better against the Bears and against the Steelers, because the first two games against Green Bay and the Texans were just abysmal run defense performances that made it very, very easy for them to move the ball. So that's a big part of it. I also think that some of the competition level, quite frankly, is a little bit different. The Packers are a really good team. The Texans are a really good team, as we know. And so, you kind of take advantage of the opponents that you get. And, and it's a case of the Bears, who their defense is really good, but their offense struggled. It's like you got to handle business at home. And then the same thing with the Steelers. It's like at some point, the Steelers sort of have to regress to the means. You can't keep winning games where you're not scoring a ton of points. And so, the Colts were able to get out in front and hold on against the Steelers. So I think those are the two biggest things, is just, again, explosive plays, capitalizing on those, but also, having the run defense wake up a ton and kind of look serviceable rather than just like a turnstile that they looked like in the first 2 weeks.
You mentioned the run defense. Let's get to the offense now. Jonathan Taylor has had a couple of really good games, including a really good game last week in the win over Pittsburgh. I know he did have an ankle issue. It's early in the week, certainly, but what are we thinking about Jonathan Taylor's availability for this Sunday?
Yeah, it's a bit unknown at the moment, a bit murky. We don't know for sure. We'll obviously have more when we look at him practicing or not later this week. But the one thing I did go back and look at was the play. It doesn't look like it was an egregious ankle sprain like the one he had a couple years ago that required surgery. It is the same ankle, the right ankle. So we'll see where they go going forward from there, because he has been good. He's been really good this year, averaging 87 yards a carry through his first 4 games. And, JT, as you talk to some of the players on the team, he looks like he's back to playing at that all-pro level that he was at in 2021 when he won the league rushing title. So if he does have to miss time, that would be a big blow for this Colts offense that has leaned on him throughout some of the struggles they've had with Anthony Richardson.
James Boyd of The Athletic. He's our guy up in Indianapolis, and we're talking Jaguars and Colts with you here on 1010XL. And then we do get to Anthony Richardson. James, it seems like every time you and I talk, Anthony Richardson's coming off an injury. And here we go again. He left the Pittsburgh game. Joe Flacco comes in and does what Joe Flacco does, right? Leads the Colts to a victory. We'll get to Flacco in a moment. To AR, how concerning is it that, again, he's missing time with another injury?
It is a bit concerning. I actually just put out an article about that and the Colts' ability to use him as a runner. Is it fair? Is it foul? What's the risk versus the reward? And so I do think that they have to continue to use him as a runner, but it is tough to continue to make those statements if he continues to get banged up. Now, if you look at his 8 games in the NFL, the ones that he's played, I know obviously he missed a ton of time because he had a shoulder injury last year that happened on a run play. Of the 8 games he's played, 4 of them he's left with injury, and he wasn't able to finish on his own terms, and all 4 injuries occurred on runs. 3 of them were design runs. And so I think people look at Anthony and it's like, oh man, he's this big Greek god looking guy, but even he has some injury history. And it doesn't just happen in the NFL. It's dating back to high school and also to college. And so it is a bit concerning. I do think that, right now everyone isn't freaking out because the injury that he had against the Steelers appears to be sort of mild. Looked like he got hit right on his hip, might be a hip pointer. The sources that I talked to said it was a hip and an oblique area injury, kind of all tied together, but no one seems to be like freaking out like, oh my gosh, the season's over again, nothing like that. But again, if he has to miss time, that's just more missed reps for a guy who hasn't played a ton of football since leaving college. So, it is concerning. It is something that you have to keep an eye on. And as much as Anthony Richardson wants to avoid talking about injuries and doesn't want to talk about, him being banged up, that injury-prone label is hard to shake if you cannot stay out there.
I've heard conflicting reports on this. You're as close to that team as anybody, which is why we love having you on. Could AR have gone back in the Pittsburgh game? Did they hold him out even though he could have gone back in?
Yeah, they didn't say it out loud, but reading the tea leaves a bit in the locker room, Anthony Richardson was asked, okay, hey, well, did you want to go back in? And he's like, yeah, I talked to the coach about it. And, he basically decided to shut me down. And I followed up and I said, hey, was it a mutual decision? Who decided for you to not play anymore? And he kind of looked and was like, it was me and the team. But I think that he wanted to go back in. And if it were like a do or die playoff game, we need our guy moment, then they probably would have put him out there. But being up 17-0, again, against the Steelers offense that got hot late, but hadn't been that great throughout the season. I think that they were okay with sort of rolling the dice, and it paid off well. That's why you pay Joe Flacco. He came in and got the job done, and you survive in advance with Anthony. But I don't think it was one of those things where like he absolutely could not play. It again was just a risk versus reward type of thing.
Couple more for James Boyd of The Athletic covering the Indianapolis Colts. Coming to this Sunday, I'll tell you, James, I'll be honest. Hopefully this isn't bulletin board material up there, but you talk to a lot of people down here, myself included. I almost think the Jaguars have a better shot with Anthony Richardson playing as opposed to Flacco. Flacco carved the Jaguars up last year in Cleveland, and Jacksonville with a lack of pass rush potentially with Hines Allen and concussion protocol. Flacco, to me, could sit back there and just tear this Jaguar defense apart, whereas Anthony Richardson, I don't know if he can do that. So I think there's a quietness down here that Anthony Richardson plays for Indianapolis on Sunday. What's the thought up there about his status for Sunday's game?
All I'm hearing is that his home state is turning on him. But no, I do think that there is something to Joe Flacco and his ability to, make the quote-unquote layup throws that Anthony's kind of struggled with. But where the one thing I will push back on is that even though Joe Flacco came in and he was steady against the Steelers, the offense looked totally different. Anthony Richardson essentially led 2 touchdown drives. He led one before he got hurt and took him down there again, before he got hurt. And then Joe Flacco threw a short touchdown pass. But after that, the offense got really kind of stagnant. They scored one more touchdown throughout the game. They were punting a lot. And it was, again, just sort of a bend, don't break scenario where I don't know if for a full game, the Colts' offense would be as explosive enough to really put a lot of points on the board against the Jaguars, even without, Josh Hines Allen. So we'll see how it goes and how, Anthony feels throughout the week. I know Joe Flacco said he had a blast playing and he looked pretty good out there. But again, I think some people kind of, forget even last year with Cleveland, being 4-1 as the starter down the stretch and leading to the playoffs, he was a bit turnover prone himself, throughout those games. And so it's not like it's just going to be, 2 touchdowns and 0 picks every week. Joe's going to have his mistakes as well because that's, part of the nature of the job and also what we've seen from him over the last few years. So we'll see how it all goes. I'm excited about it. But I will say, either way, that curse is still hanging over the Colts franchise.
And we'll get to that in a moment. That's where we're going next. But quickly, early in the week, just like with Jonathan Taylor, we won't hold you to it, but gut feeling, do we see Anthony Richardson on Sunday here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, this isn't based off any reporting at all. It's more so just like looking at the play, knowing the player. My gut, my guess would be that he plays. And we'll obviously know more if he practices this week. But my guess is that, considering that he wanted to go back into that game, maybe he's got into the ice bath, got some Epsom salt, had some work done on the hip. He'll be good to go in Jacksonville. So we'll see. But if I had to guess right now, I would say that Anthony Richardson plays and makes his 9th start in the NFL.
Now, I don't know where you were in life September of 2014. I was engaged at the time to my wife, who now we've been married over 9 years. We have a 5-year-old son in kindergarten. None of that was the situation in September of 2014, which is the last time that Indianapolis has actually come into Northeast Florida and won a football game. Now, one of those games was in London, but the Indianapolis Colts have lost some miraculous games down here. Opening day 2020, literally the Jaguars' only win of the year came against Phillip Rivers and the Colts. Matt Ryan couldn't win down here. Andrew Luck couldn't win down here. I mean, it's been absolutely incredible for a decade. What is the talk up there in Indy about finally trying to end this thing?
I definitely think that it is one of the funniest and weirdest streaks throughout the NFL right now. And a lot of the players have downplayed it. Shane Steichen obviously downplayed it because he wasn't here for, all 9 of these consecutive losses in Jacksonville and quote unquote London. But at the same time, as much as guys don't want to talk about it, they all know about it. And, I'm going to remind them of it this week myself when I get back in the locker room, because I just think that it's something that you cannot, dismiss or try to say it's just another game. No, it's not. We all know the history. We all know the flukiness of how you perform when you're down there. And really, I can't even say it's a fluke or a flukiness because, it's sort of like a penciled in loss for you. And so I do think that this is sort of like a crossroads. You got the Jaguars struggling, they're 0-4. And then, you're trying to get above 500 for the first time this year. If you can't beat a team that is winless on the road, with your guys and you think that you're a playoff team, then I just feel like it's never going to happen in my lifetime. And to answer your question, Ryan, when I was, September 2014, I was a freshman in college at the University of Illinois. So about 10 years ago at this point. And it's funny because I'm going back to talk to my college in one of the media classes here soon. So I'm an old man now, as they say, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited to get down there and cover what surely will be, in all seriousness, a competitive game, because we talk about division rivalries and things like that. This game usually lives up to the hype, and usually if it's in Duval County, the Jaguars come out on top, and obviously they will feel good to get on the board this season after a rough start.
And look, I've ripped the Jaguars, as have most media down here, as have the fans. We're all, I'm in shock that they're 0-4, but 3 of those losses literally could have gone either way in the last, minute of the game. Any chance Indy seeing an 0-4 Jaguar team maybe doesn't take them as seriously as they need to?
I think they'll take them serious. It's just a matter of, are you going to win? And that's the biggest question. I can't say that the team has been unserious the last few times they've been down there or anything like that. They just haven't been able to find a way to win. And so I do think that, the NFL is one of the best leagues because there's always parity. Every time you think something's guaranteed to happen, it never happens that way. So, the Jaguars have a good a chance as anybody. And then you're playing at home, you're playing for pride. And again, you're facing a team that you're very familiar with. And so, the last thing I'll say is with Anthony, if he does play, it depends on what version you get. You can get the version that threw the, crazy touchdown pass to Alec Pierce that was 65 yards through the air for a touchdown, or you can get the version that, overthrows the simple guy or simple route and throws it to the other team like he did against the Bears. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, excited for the game. Always grateful to head down to Jacksonville because the weather is good and the football, it's football, man. We can't complain too much.
Yeah, it's going to be wild, too. Tom Coughlin's getting inducted into what is essentially the Jaguar Ring of Honor. It's called the Pride of the Jaguars. The Jaguars are wearing their throwback unis from the 1990s. They're obviously putting a lot into this game. If Indianapolis comes in here and wins, if the season's not over already here in Jacksonville, it definitely will be at 0-5. Quickly, James, while we have you here, we know DeForest Buckner's on IR. Kwity Paye, Kenny Moore, what do you think their status will be on Sunday?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I know, Kenny didn't practice at all last week, and then, Kwity is struggling with the quad. And just to clarify real quick, Kenny is dealing with the hip. I don't know if it's similar to Anthony. I think it's a little bit different, actually. But I have no idea. We'll see when they practice, and I'll have a better understanding then. But I will say, at some point, I do think that the injuries piling up for the Colts, if they continue to have to play games without starters, it's going to catch up. And I get it. The NFL is all about next man up, and, everyone's got a chance, and we're going to believe in each other. But at some point, talent matters, and experience matters. And if they continue to have guys miss time, big pieces of their defense, it's going to be hard to overcome all of them at once. Because if you look at, their roster, Samson Ebukam, their leading sack guy from last year, he tore his Achilles in training camp. He might be out for the season. You have DeForest Buckner on IR, another starter. You have Juju Brent, starting cornerback. He's on IR. Kenny Moore missed, a game. Julian Blackman's missed the game. Kwity Paye, has missed the game. So these injuries are piling up for these guys. And at some point, a team is going to take advantage of that because that's just how the NFL works and how sports work. It's not fair all the time, but it's reality.
Well, believe me, if you guys are close in the fourth quarter, the Jaguars have proven that they will find ways to lose football games this year. So we'll see if that trend is bucked on Sunday. But it's been amazing the way Jacksonville has lost some of these games to begin the 2024 season. James Boyd of The Athletic covering the Indianapolis Colts. James, safe travels down here to Duval County, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Let's go, defense! A good-looking defense does more than protect your zone. It can enhance your home. Hey, this is our house! Hey, this is our house! After the game, catch the superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time to take it back to the 90s, Jags fans. Be at the bank Sunday, October 6th as we debut our Prowler throwback jerseys against the Colts and induct legendary head coach Tom Coughlin into the Pride of the Jaguars at halftime. Kick off the set for 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this matchup.
Lock in your seats now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson.
Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer it in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show? See, that's another question. Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Help make Jacksonville safer and play a round of golf at the First Coast Crime Stoppers Golf Tournament, October 21st at Amelia River Club.
If you're a dog lover who wants to help animals, our furry friends need exercise and time out of their kennels. You can make a difference in a dog's life at volunteer@jackshumane.org.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating to a local blood donation center.
Dreams Come True is the only local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com, the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Hello there. Brendan from Play It Again Sports here to congratulate all the parents for surviving another summer. The kiddos are back to school, and you know what that means? Sports are back. But don't fret. Play It Again Sports has the gear you need at prices worthy of excessive celebration. From sluggers and shooters to clappers and benders, Play It Again Sports can turn your kids into goats. Stop in today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainjacks.com.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting!
Hey, Hickett here with a message from Zero Res. Can you believe they've been cleaning carpets in Jacksonville now for 20 years? Dave Benyon, his family and staff are so grateful of things and appreciate you, their great customers. In fact, October's birthday month for Zero Res. So what are we doing for customers? Just say happy birthday, Zero Res, and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, tile, and grout, upholstery, or area rugs. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. If your IT, data security, and your office copiers are operating perfectly, you must have hired ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, as your technology partner.
Advanced Business Solutions.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Taking you up till 10 o'clock, as we do every night. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, Chad Forbes. You follow him on social media at NFL Draft Bites. Chad is always good to mix it up a little bit. He'll tell you what he thinks, man. He's a pretty straight shooter, which is why we love having him on. We'll talk Jags. We'll talk a little Brian Thomas Jr., talk a little Anthony Richardson. All points in between with Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites. He comes up in less than 15 minutes. Also, my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark as well. And what should be a pretty interesting weekend of college football. Now, the 4 local schools all play. Florida and UCF, 7:45 in Gainesville. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL Radio Saturday night. Again, I think a lot of the luster is off UCF after the Colorado performance. But as Denmark pointed out last night, and Denmark, I don't know if this has changed at all, but you said the line was like Florida going from a 2-point favorite to a 2.5-point dog since it opened up, right?
Yeah, it's 2.5 now. Depending where you look, it's 2.5, 3.
Now, again, I don't know all that much about those type of things, but I do know that when a line changes 5 points, that's pretty significant, is it not?
Yeah, that means they have some piece of information that's changed since that line came out. So, and I don't know what that information is. Only thing that I've seen that's came out recently today was Eugene Wilson might have a chance to play on Saturday, but yeah, something's off with that line.
Something was off with UCF against Colorado. That was a terrible performance. We'll see if they can regain their whatever it was that got them to 3-0. But that was not good last week against Colorado. And for Florida, look, it's a game you need to win, right? Maybe it doesn't mean much if you win it, but it's going to mean an awful lot if you lose it. If UCF comes into your stadium and beats you, that's a terrible look, man. Terrible look. So a huge game for Billy Napier. Florida State hosts a red-hot Clemson team, and they do it with a quarterback in Brock Glenn that does not have a lot of experience. One would think Clemson would have a relatively easy time of it. Georgia should destroy Auburn. Tell you, Hugh Freeze is going to find himself on the hot seat pretty quick there on the Plains. It has not gotten off to a good start for him in year 2. And then Miami goes to Cal on Saturday night. I'll tell you, Denmark, quickly, the SEC game that I might be most interested in, I love that Missouri A&M game, high noon. Undefeated Missouri, 1-loss A&M. That should be a good one Saturday on ABC.
Yeah, I'll probably have a lot of points in that game. This is not really a good weekend for college football. The next one is the gauntlet, where you have like 6 games that are like you could have that would be must see. Yeah, that's probably one of the top games probably this weekend.
Of Florida, Florida State, Georgia, and Miami, how many do you think lose on Saturday?
Florida State loses. Miami wins. Florida's a coin flip, and Georgia wins.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, too. I think Miami needs to be careful, though, man. That's a long trip. That's an odd trip. Now, I mean, you saw Washington go across the country to Rutgers and lose, so maybe there is something to that. I'm going to be very curious, but my goodness, thousands of miles for these college athletes to travel, and Miami goes out to Cal Berkeley for a 10:30 kick. I'm willing to bet a lot of Miami Hurricanes have never kicked off at 10:30 Eastern time on a Saturday night. Just an interesting dynamic in that game, where College Game Day will be on ESPN there on Saturday morning. We'll do more college ball with Brent Beard of First Coast News. Of course, you get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. That comes up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Coming up next, back into the NFL, back into this Jaguars-Colts matchup on Sunday. My buddy Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites on social media. He likes to stir the pot a little bit. That's why we love having him on. Let's talk Jaguars. Let's talk Brian Thomas. Let's talk a little Anthony Richardson. And again, all points in between with Chad Forbes talking Jags and Colts with you. Next, Wednesday night, Hacker After Dark, right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
If you want more action,
It's Smash Mouth football, baby.
Tom McManus.
Fridays 10 to noon on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Hacker here, and the celebration is getting closer than I expected. On my countdown to 100 pounds. I thought it would take me a lot longer, but I'm already at 98 pounds gone. 4.5 pounds down last week alone. Next week should be epic as I do what I never thought could be done just 6 months ago. Me losing 100 pounds. What's your Awaken 180 goal? Is it hitting a number? Is it losing weight without a life of medications? Or is it just feeling better? Whatever your goal is, bring it to Awaken 180 and ask them how fast you will reach it. But Hacker, I've tried other programs and diets before. Why will Awaken 180 work? It's simple, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Remember, when I hit that 100-pound mark, we're going to celebrate. I'll keep you updated again next week, but I have a hunch I'll be crossing that 100-pound threshold. In the meantime, pick up the phone and make your own 180. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREZ. Zero Res.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hi Jags fans, Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Colts, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio. The Colts come in at 2-2. The Jaguars have the distinction now of being the only winless team in the NFL at 0-4. Let's talk about the Jags, what has gone wrong, and more importantly, what, if anything, they can do about it moving forward with Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites on social media is where you find Chad, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Chad, how we doing?
0-4 is not an ideal start for you folks down in Duval.
No, it's not. And you and I talked a lot this offseason. Chad, I'm never going to be the most positive Jaguar guy. By no means am I sunshine and rainbows. But I thought, 8, maybe 9 wins for this team. I'm borderline stunned at the 0-4 start. What's been your reaction?
The talent is better than they're playing, and a lot of it comes down to the quarterback needs to play better. And seems like the skill position group isn't fitting together as quickly as we thought. But I think there's room for some optimism with these next 3 games they've got. Obviously, it starts with the Colts on Sunday. But if they can get a win there, maybe start stacking, then get back into the hunt.
Yeah, that's the hope, and we'll get to that in a moment. Let's begin with Trevor Lawrence. Last week, last year you could talk about the injuries. The Cleveland game this year, you could talk about the offensive line. The Miami game, you could talk about the ETN fumble. Chad, I got to tell you, man, last week against Houston, I put that on Trevor. He had 2 wide open guys for touchdowns down the field, and he missed both of them. One was Brian Thomas, the other was Christian Kirk. That was tough to watch last week.
Yeah, it feels like there's issues with the accuracy and related to the footwork, and he's missing guys that are really wide open, and he missed Gabe Davis a couple weeks ago, and it feels like without Ingram, he's kind of struggled without that safety net. They started to focus a little bit more on the run game, and that should help him, but it really comes down to the footwork, and he's really not tying his eyes and body together the way he's throwing the ball. And he's a big quarterback. So if you do that, the ball will sail on him, or he's just missing guys. And he's got to clean that up. And that's going to come down to the coaching. And if he doesn't, then there's going to be some change down there in Duval.
Chad Forbes here with us on 1010XL. Chad, you study the draft. That's why we love having you on. Trevor Lawrence, by no means am I saying the book has been written on him. But man alive, year 4, I'm just surprised that we're here. What's your reaction to overall body of work so far in his career?
Look at some of these quarterbacks that are even older than Trevor Lawrence that have gone through, a lot of issues in their career and rebounded, whether it's a Baker Mayfield or a Sam Darnold. We have really high expectations because he's the first overall pick. And, a lot of it is still, we're just so excited about the talent and what he did at Clemson. But he's also had some pretty good seasons with the Jaguars. 9-8 the past 2 years with Doug. And I think you look at him, and this is just me kind of pontificating here. If there is change down in Jacksonville, say Doug's out, perhaps the general manager goes with him. You bring in a guy like the Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. Look what he's done fixing Jared Goff. the importance of the coaching staff and getting through to these guys and getting them to live up to their real talent is just so vital. And right now it seems like there's a disconnect. And Doug really, if he wants to keep this job, he's got to take over that play calling, and it's got to become his offense.
Chad, is the criticism on Doug Peterson warranted in your opinion?
Right, he's 0-4, and it's a results league. He's gone 9-8 the past few seasons. I have a lot of respect for Doug. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's done a pretty good job stabilizing the ship. And, Balky gets a lot of grief down there, but there's talent on that roster. And, yeah, Doug deserves the criticism. They're 0-4, as you said, the only winless team in the NFL. But you know what? It's early. If they can get on a little streak here, maybe people will start to be less concerned about the coach and more focused on the next game coming up.
Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites on social media is where you find his work. One more thing on Doug Peterson. I do sympathize with him, and he's done a good job answering questions this week, but I go back to Sunday, the one that kind of went viral was talking about the play calling, and he said, look, players need to make plays. Chad, I agree with that, man. I mean, look, the coaches can only get Christian Kirk wide open. They can't complete that pass, right? The coaches can only get Brian Thomas wide open in the end zone. They can't complete that pass. I know people don't want to blame Trevor, and they want to put the blame at Doug, and I get that. But I understood Doug's frustration, at least on that one.
This offseason when they signed Gabriel Davis, I said I liked a lot of their moves. That was not one that I was really high on. And you look at it right now with Ingram out, the offense is being run through a wide receiver who's 21 years old. Granted, Brian Thomas, I loved him in the draft, first-round pick. But he went in the 20s for a reason. He's a raw player. And they're trying to run the passing game through him at this point. And guys like Christian Kirk, he's starting to step up and round into form. But Gabe Davis is just really struggling. And I don't think they're getting much out of Duvernay. And I'd like to see him get more out of the backs. Like ETN, he should be better in the pass game. It seems like that staff, though, is kind of a little bit conflicted, whether they like Bigsby or ETN more, kind of as they fill out their scheme each week. And, yeah, it comes down to the quarterback. When you're 0-4, there's a lot of blame to go around, right? But I also think that the offensive line has struggled a little bit. There's not a lot of physicality. They kind of went cheap there, trying to re-sign Ezra Cleveland. They went to center Morse. That's been an issue. When you're 0-4, there's issues everywhere, right? It's hard to point to a guy and say, oh, he's having a great year.
You mentioned Brian Thomas Jr. There's not a lot of silver linings at 0-4, Chad. But if there is one, boy, it does look like they have something with that rookie from LSU.
Right. When I said Brian Thomas, I wanted to have the courage to do it, and I recognized that there's more risk, but I thought he was very similar on grade to a Marvin Harrison Jr. who ended up going 4th overall. Malik Neighbors to me, which, I guess I'm pounding my chest here, but, I had him as my number one player in the draft outside of the quarterbacks, and he's been unbelievable. But you look at Brian Thomas Jr., and he's just tapping the surface. He's a really exciting player. He's only going to get better. They got to get more out of the other wide receivers, and, Kirk has got to become more of a threat in the passing game, and really getting Ingram back, that's going to be pivotal.
A couple of more for Chad Forbes. Chad, the Indianapolis Colts come in here on Sunday. Do they have an Anthony Richardson problem in Indianapolis?
I mean, Joe Flacco played really well, right? And, what they were doing with Richardson, throwing the ball way downfield, he's really not an accurate guy. He's a great athlete, but we see what happens there. He gets hurt. Flacco, I mean, this guy's got 9 lives, right? I mean, it's just, he executes the play that is called, and he's not the most accurate guy, but somehow he makes it work. If I'm the Jaguars, I'd much rather be facing Anthony Richardson than Joe Flacco.
No, I agree, and we've talked about that this week. And one of the craziest stats in the NFL, and I don't know nationally if this is getting enough attention, because it is the Colts and the Jaguars, so I guess I understand it. Indianapolis has not won a game in Jacksonville, Florida since September of 2014. Now, one of those games was in London, but they've lost some miraculous ways here in Jacksonville, and it's just a bizarre stat. I know it's a big story in Indy. You just don't see a division like that where a team has not won in an opposing stadium for over a decade.
You wonder if those games are early in the season, when it's warm out. The team from Indianapolis coming down there might be, a little bit winded. But, yeah, that's an interesting stat. And also the games in London are a factor. But the Colts haven't been great. They've had trouble with the Jaguars. And this week, Trevor Lawrence is the story. But if you can't run the ball in the Indianapolis Colts effectively, then you've got issues.
Chad, as we begin to wrap up, you alluded to it earlier. Look, I'm trying to be as positive as I can be, and it's hard this week. I said it one time. I guess I'll say it again with you, and I probably won't bring it up again the rest of the week. 0-4 is what it is. Only one team has made the playoffs in the last 3.5 decades starting 0-4, so by no means am I saying that. But it's not a giant leap, right? It's not far-fetched to believe that you can win a game in Jacksonville. Coughlin's going into the pride of the Jaguars. It's going to be a big deal on Sunday. You beat Indy. You go to London. You play the rookie Caleb Williams in Chicago. You play a struggling New England team. it does not take a leap of faith to think Jacksonville could snap their fingers here and potentially be 3-4, and at that point you have a brand new season.
Right. The path to 3-4 seems really realistic if they get focused and Trevor plays a little bit better. This week, it just, it comes down to the big boys up front, got to move people off the ball. Bigsby needs to be a big part of the game plan, take some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, I think we're going to be talking come October and we'll say, oh, they're 3-4 back in the hunt. The talent is just too deep on this roster. And that's what I was mentioning earlier with, who's the hot coaches coming up this cycle. If you look at the Jaguars and you say, okay, I'm in Florida. A lot of guys want to live down there. No state taxes, really talented roster, a lot of cap room. If somebody like a Ben Johnson, who's a Detroit's offensive coordinator who picks Jared Goff, says, I can fix Trevor Lawrence, then the Jaguars are a sleeping giant in the AFC South. And, we'll see what plays out here. But it's definitely going to be very intriguing going forward. You hear a lot of Belichick talk, but I think Joe Brady's looking at that and saying, Ben Johnson's looking at that and saying, ooh, that's intriguing.
No, I agree with you with Ben Johnson. Final question, just for the heck of it. If the NFL draft, Chad, were today, obviously the Jaguars, the only winless team, would have the number 1 pick. I mean, is it as simple as Travis Hunter from Colorado?
You try to trade down for someone that wants Jalen Milroe. He's in my top quarterback even before his heroics last week at Georgia. I don't see the Jaguars ending up with the first overall pick. I did kind of a projection out this week. I think I had them around 7 or 8, and around there, like a Mason Graham or Travis Hunter would make a lot of sense. If you're picking first overall, that's a really tough question. You can't get out. Maybe no quarterbacks really emerge in this draft. That's a loaded question.
Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites on social media. Chad, I know you're busy, man. Thank you for the time. Hopefully the next time you and I talk, how about this? If the Jaguars do rattle off 3 in a row, we'll give you a call after London, and I certainly hope we're able to do that. Thank you, my friend.
All right, I'm projecting Tank Bigsby over 100 this week.
It's not reinventing the wheel, it's making it roll down the field.
Let's keep it rolling.
Listen for the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
That's a great drive right there.
On 1010XL.
Keep going. We got to keep going, keep going, keep going.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs. I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Who won the very first Stanley Cup in hockey? The answer coming up.
We all know that saving money on items like homeowners insurance can be done. Ask your agent about the new Southern Oak Insurance deductible options. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Montreal Hockey Club defeated the Ottawa Hockey Club in 1894 and won the very first Stanley Cup.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, it should be an interesting weekend of college football. There's a big one in Gainesville between UCF and Florida. Clemson comes in to play just a reeling Florida State team. And where is Georgia after that Alabama loss with Auburn now on the horizon? With all that, we welcome in my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, it was an interesting weekend, and it will be another interesting weekend coming up as we have left September and into what I hope is soon going to be a much cooler October.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think we're all going to welcome the cooler weather and the importance of these college football games. They're all important, but when you get into the month of October, we're into conference play all across the country. And that brings me to Florida State. 42-16 to SMU. Just a disaster last weekend. And now we find out that it appears DJU is going to be out with a broken finger. It looks like Brock Glenn will be the guy. And here comes Clemson, one of the hottest teams in the country, into Tallahassee. Boy, Brent, on paper, this doesn't look good for the Noles going into Saturday.
Well, and Florida State will not get any sympathy from Clemson whatsoever. Look, you and I have been talking about this for a while, that really Florida State needed to make a change, and now you've got this finger injury, so it looks like he could be out for a while, and they've got to start preparing for next year. Let's just be honest about that, and the sooner they can get Brock Glenn in the game and let him get some experience, the better he's going to be. This is a much different Clemson team than we saw that basically got a field goal against Georgia. They have really recuperated. They're averaging 42 points a game. The defense is not kind of where we thought it would be, but Kate Klubnik is doing significantly better. I'm sure you've caught this. The thing that's disappointing about Florida State is they just have quit. I mean, there were there were touchdown passes and so forth that SMU threw into the end zone right in the middle of like 2 or 3 FSU players, and they didn't even bother to even try to tackle them. So I didn't know if they didn't want to get their hair messed up, their uniform dirty, or whatever. That's the thing to me that's so disappointing, is really how, and it shows an awful lack of any kind of maturity, that you want to play hard and at least, and I'm not saying all of them are, but you and I have watched them. There are way too many players that aren't given the effort they need, win or lose, and right now it's lose.
Brent, you've covered college football for a long time. I mean, this team was 13-0 last year, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be lucky to win 4 games.
They are.
With their remaining schedule, and 4 games might be nice to them right now. I mean, you got Clemson and Notre Dame and Miami and Duke, who's undefeated. I mean, it is going to be tough to win 4 games. And can you remember in less than a calendar year a bigger fall from grace for a program?
No, it's very and look, it's not like they didn't return some talent, and well, we thought they were getting some talent in the portal, but it had just not worked out. But what you're seeing with them is a year ago, everybody got in that portal, it basically worked out. This year, everybody that got in the portal, it didn't work out almost. But really, the problem, besides DJU being very disappointing, the real problem for them is they had some NFL guys on that defensive line, and they have not played like it at all. And I know in their only win that they got, they had 7 tackles for loss. But look, that's the most disappointing aspect of this. And heck, at this point, I'm not sure Norvell can really do anything to get them jump started. I mean, it would be nice to see them, rebound and play worth something the second half of the season. But there's nothing that guarantees that right now, does it?
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Yeah, Florida State 1-4, and Clemson coming in. They're staring 1-5 in the face. That takes us to Gainesville. UCF was red hot. They had that comeback win over TCU, had a bye week. Everything's great. Dion and Colorado just put one on them last week. And I wonder, where UCF kind of is mentally coming into Gainesville now after what happened last weekend against the Buffaloes.
They were averaging 375 yards a game rushing. And Colorado, which I can assure you is or not the 85 Bears, they held the Knights to 177 yards rushing. So, I mean, look, does that mean Florida is going to do the same thing? No, not necessarily. But you would think that would give them some hope. But this is a game they need to win this game, not only to begin to right the ship, but they need to win this game because you need to stop losing to your in-state rivals. And they've got Florida State, which they can beat, and then you've got they've already lost to Miami and UCF. So this would be an incredibly big win for them. I think if they can get it. Look, Gus Malzahn. People look at Gus and mistakenly say that he's an elite football coach. Gus averages, and people look this up pretty easy. Gus averages 4 losses a year. That's not an elite football coach. And still, frankly, Florida, they're not great, but Florida still has a better roster than UCF does.
If Napier wins on Saturday, all of a sudden they're 3-2. Now, look, they go to Neyland next week on Saturday night.
Right.
That could be really bad. But you and I talked about this last week. Kentucky's not going to be easy. Kentucky just went into Ole Miss and won.
Mm-hmm.
But in a hypothetical world, if they win their 2 home games or 4-3 going into the bye, I wonder if the water's calm a little bit on Napier, at least till the end of the year.
He could. I think what people are hearing is what you and I have been talking about for a while. They really don't have any confidence in anyone on that staff to be the interim head coach. So let's just ride him until – now, look, whether it be fair or not or good or bad, I mean, certainly what I've heard is if they can break 500, he will be back next year. Or at least I think that would be a better. Certainly, let's be fair and say that would be a much better chance if that would happen. But look, to your point, I mean, Kentucky is that's almost a 50-50 game. LSU's defense still struggles. Maybe they can win a shootout with LSU, particularly with the losing guys like Harold Perkins, and they could beat Florida State. So, Hank, to back up what you're saying, if you're looking at that and then a win over UCF, people could at least exhale for a little bit, couldn't they?
They could. You get Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, it was an all-time classic last week in the second half between Georgia and Alabama. What a game. What a fourth quarter. Georgia loses a heartbreaker, and now they got to turn right back around and play an Auburn team that likewise lost a heartbreaker. You got to wonder where both of these teams are coming into this game on Saturday.
Georgia has a much better roster than Auburn does. But with that said, we also saw Brock Bowers having to dig Georgia out of a hole last year in the fourth quarter in order to beat Auburn. Auburn's a different team on the road than they are at home. I mean, basically Auburn has not won in Georgia in years. And look, Georgia will be focused, and they will be ready to play. I don't think there's any way to get around it. And I think this thing gets ugly at some point. I could see Auburn, who has a pretty good defense to their credit, but what Auburn needs to do is to run the ball with Jarquez Hunter and play defense, and let Payne Thorne do a little bit of play action. The Georgia we saw in the second half against Alabama, I know Alabama got more conservative, but that was the Georgia we're used to seeing, and I think Georgia will be fine. But look, and by the way, I think 13 million saw that game on television, and the number you're looking for is 4 million, so they triple that. That's amazing. But heck, realistically, with Texas left to play in Austin, and then Ole Miss and Oxford, I mean, you could see a Georgia team this year that could still get in the playoffs with 10-2.
If Billy Napier is on the hottest seat in the conference, who's right behind him? Is Hugh Freeze there? Sam Pittman? What's your thought?
No, Freeze is still not there. Sam Pittman would be there. And look, frankly, Arkansas should be undefeated. They've lost 2 close games to Oklahoma State in double overtime, and then they lost last week to A&M in Jerry's World, which is the last year that game's going to be played there. So it would be Pittman. Freeze is not on it yet, but I can tell you if they have the season that they're capable of having right now, which would be probably a 5-7 type thing, going into next year, that would be a lot of screaming and gnashing of teeth with Hugh Freeze at Auburn going into his 3rd season.
Brent, as we begin to wrap up, Friday night down in Miami was one of the most fascinating endings to a college football game I've ever seen. I can't ever remember the final play of the game going to instant replay and literally what the video booth decided was going to decide the outcome. Now, whether you call me a conspiracy theorist or not, here's the bottom line. That play for Virginia Tech was called a touchdown on the field. Mm-hmm. Was there enough to overturn it? I think it's debatable. And if it's debatable, there's certainly a conversation to be had. And the ACC's not stupid, right? They hopefully are going to get a top 4 seed in Miami is probably their expectation. They're probably their greatest chance to do something in the playoff. Maybe them or Clemson, I guess. I mean, things like that lead the mind to wander a little bit, do they not?
Well, it does. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you heard a lot of that about, and look, I don't think it was as much of a conspiracy theory as Commissioner Phillips got on the phone and said Miami needs to win this game. I'm not going there, but the thing these officials really need to do, and I know I guess you've got to make some kind of decision, but heck, the thing they really need to do is to come up with a decision like that and just have some kind of a hand signal that means, look, we don't know what happened, and we've got to go to the monitor and find out. And if they did that, I think they would leave themselves a little more breathing room all the way around. But Miami, and the truth of heck, Virginia Tech really, there were moments they dominated that game. So Miami still got a lot of work to do. But you're right. That and somehow this always happens to Miami, a lot like the Georgia Tech game last year, of these incredible endings that they've got, and that was one of them.
Quickly, Brent, College Game Day is going to be out at Berkeley for Miami and Cal, which is fascinating because that's a 10:30 at night kickoff. I mean, we're talking, 12 hours roughly before kickoff. Game Day is going to be on the air. Boy, that's a long trip, man. Does Miami have any issues out there on Saturday night, late Saturday night?
Well, I mean, they could. Cal beat Auburn, so I give them credit for that. And Cal's got a really good running back. The Ott kid is good. Their quarterback's good. Wilcox, their coach, is a defensive savant, so that might happen. Look, listen, Hack, to me, what they've got to do is, are they going to get enough people to be able to come to College Game Day in the wee hours of the morning and be excited about that, or is that just going to be embarrassing? So I was kind of a little perplexed as far as why they chose this. I mean, they've never been there. I get that part, and I don't think it will affect them that much. But people need to Google the mileage from Coral Gables to Berkeley. That's a long way, frankly. So that, to your point, yes, there are going to be some very interesting parts of that trip coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. The games we mentioned, a really good one between Missouri and A&M, which I really like. Tennessee, Arkansas as well. It should be a fantastic weekend of college football. We'll, of course, be back next week to break it all down. You can see Brent Beard on First Coast News, and you also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, as always, brother, thank you. We'll talk again soon.
Good. Can't wait, bud. Take care. Thanks.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark, because it should be a pretty exciting Saturday of college football. Of course, here locally, UCF Florida, 7:45 in Gainesville. You'll hear that game right here on 1010XL. Florida State with Brock Glenn as the starting quarterback will be hosting a red-hot Clemson team. You got Auburn and Georgia, two teams coming off just brutal losses last week, looking to get back on the right track. And then very late Saturday night, Miami goes all the way to Cal Berkeley to take on the Golden Bears in what should be a very interesting game between the Hurricanes and Cal. So again, thank you to Brent Beard. We did talk a lot of college football tonight. Certainly talked a lot about the National Football League as well. The Jaguars back on the practice field today to get ready for the Indianapolis Colts to try to get their first win of the year. The Jaguars are the only winless team in the NFL, and they will look to do something about that Sunday at 1 o'clock. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Thank you to Leon Searcy, the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every day on XL Primetime, and, of course, you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. As I mentioned, my buddy Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark as we previewed Week 6 of the college football season. Thank you to James Boyd of The Athletic up in Indianapolis. James is certainly one of our guys when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts, who are looking to beat a pretty impressive streak. They have not won a game in Jacksonville, Florida since September of 2014, and they will look to end that streak on Sunday. And thank you to Chad Forbes. You can follow him on Twitter at NFL Draft Bites. Always enjoy the conversation with Chad here on Hacker After Dark. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Thursday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Get entertaining insight on Sunday's games all day Monday.
They came together as a team.
Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Postgame Monday.
It is a game.
Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since